Welcome to Spooky Saturday, where the stories tend to make you stand on end, and I'm not talking just hair. Your sanity is optional here, so let's dive into tonight's tale.
Deep in the mountains of Calaveras County, before Camp Wolfboro ever existed, locals whispered about a creature, one of great height and stature. Locals describe a charcoal to black fur covering the creature, glowing, piercing red eyes, with a gait that was recognizable to all who witnessed it. Its stench was the kind that hunters could smell from far away. This is the legend of the CCM, also known as the Calaveras County Monster. In a remote section of Calaveras County, there is a cabin made of chopped pine logs, meticulously built to withstand the elements. It was here that three men would go on what seemed like a normal hunting trip, only to have one member of the group come back alive. They had been up here before. The cabin belonged to one of the men's grandfathers who had built it. The men set up their sleeping quarters, loaded their guns, and prepared to head outside to the trapping sites. They made their living trading fur, so whatever animal they could catch would make for great profit. On their way to the site, the youngest of the group spotted something, a carcass. It was a deer that wasn't scavenged, but mangled. Its torso was twisted unnaturally. This deer wasn't hunted, it was crushed. Hunters know the difference between predators. A cougar tears, a bear rips and shreds. Scavengers leave teeth marks, drag marks, tracks, something. But this was different. No signs of anything, just a mangled carcass. Whatever killed this wasn't looking for food, said one of the hunters. They proceeded with caution, guns raised. They successfully set up the traps for the night and made their way back to the cabin. That first night was fine. The three had huddled around a fire, discussing what could have killed that deer, when all of a sudden, one of the traps had been set. Immediately the group ran down the small hill to see what had set it off. To the men's surprise, the trap was set. The iron jaws were clamped, but on nothing. Looks like something took the bait, one of the hunters said. Disappointed, the three men returned to the cabin and slept. The next day, as the men prepared breakfast, another hunter heard the bell once more. Another catch, they all thought. This time, only one of the hunters went to check on the trap. 10 minutes went by. Then, a shotgun blast was heard. Then, 30 minutes went by. Then an hour. Something was clearly wrong. They scrambled to the trap, only to find him missing. Eerily, his double-barrel shotgun was now laying on the icy ground below. The oldest of the group cracked open the barrel of his gun. One shell still in the chamber. When he turned around to ask where he could have went, the youngest disappeared. He called his name but was unsuccessful. Frustrated, he begins scrounging for clues in the snow as to what took his friend. In the snow, right by a boulder, was a massive footprint. Human-like, but the pressure was all wrong. Could this track be a bear? He couldn't be sure. All of a sudden, back at the cabin, he heard the youngest screaming, followed by a strange roaring sound. He charged back up the trail as fast as he could, heading to the sound of the scream. When he turned the corner, standing 10 feet in front of him was a massive creature. It was 8 feet tall, covered in black fur. Its eyes had an amber hue, and it was staring right at him. The creature made it not one step further before a shotgun slug was fired, striking its left leg. The shot nearly took his whole left leg off. The creature groaned loudly before vanishing into the trees, crashing through branches. But the hunter wasn't focused on chasing it, because lying at the foot of the cabin door was a pair of boots. He cautiously stepped towards them. He recognized them as the youngest hunter's pair. He knelt down beside them and picked them up. To his horror, he discovered that the hunter's foot was still inside the boot, actively bleeding. He recoiled and dropped it to the ground. That image seared in his mind for decades to come. With 2 of his friends gone and himself left, he knew he had to leave. He packed up his gear and got out of there. He never went to that cabin ever again. Decades passed. Camp Wolfboro was built not far from that old cabin. People forgot the story, but the counselors didn't. Fast forward to July of 2014. I was a first-year scout and was eager to hear the campfire ghost stories. That night, the counselors told the legend, the same one I told you today. However, they added one final warning. The leg that got hit with the shotgun broke. Over the years, it healed incorrectly. Now it drags that dead foot behind. So if you ever hear thump, drag, run, and pray it's not too late. The other scouts were terrified. I could see it in their faces. But me, I wasn't buying any of it. Not until later that night. It was 11:15 p.m. I was beginning to brush my teeth alone, with a weak headlamp, barely 15 feet of visibility in front of me. Beyond that, nothing but pitch black forest. I wasn't thinking about monsters. I wasn't primed for anything. I was just tired and ready to slip into my sleeping bag to go to bed. Suddenly, in the trees directly in front of me, were 2 large, glowing eyes. The eyes were about 7 to 8 feet the highest off the ground. I noticed that they got bigger. Whatever this was walking directly towards me. That's when I felt the ground. I swear on my life I heard a massive thump, followed by a strange sound of the dirt being dragged. What was disturbing was that I was standing on loose sand. Loose sand doesn't transmit vibration. I shouldn't have felt it, but those footsteps were so heavy, I felt each step undeniably. Then the eyes turn to the right and disappear into the darkness. I wasn't a believer of the story until I saw those eyes and heard those steps. I had just seen the Calaveras County monster with my own eyes. Years after the encounter, out of my whole troop, I recall 2 other scouts I actually told. Both of them believed me, because they saw the same thing also, at one point while they were there. I can firmly say that this encounter wasn't one born from imagination. Because of my skepticism, my brain wasn't primed to look for it. I didn't see it as a threat until I physically saw it with my own eyes and connected the dots. Only then did my brain confirm what I was truly seeing. It gives me chills, even as I recall the memories of that night. Whether you don't believe me or do, it doesn't matter. I know what I saw. If you enjoyed this true story and wish to see more like it in the future, don't forget to hit subscribe if you are new, click that like button for me, and comment what moment did it for you. If you love true, paranormal, scary stories in audio-only format, you are in the right place. So tune in every Saturday at 9 p.m. PST for new stories every week.
Through the static and the silence, a whisper calls your name, a voice that chills your spirit, the it soothes you all the same. In the dark, the tales unfold, where shadows love